Grandma, why are you crazy and poor? The words came from my 6-year-old granddaughter Emma as I was helping her with her coloring book. Her 4-year-old brother Jake looked up from his toy trucks, waiting for my answer with the innocent curiosity that only children possess. I set down the crayon I'd been holding, my hand suddenly unsteady. What did you say, sweetheart? Mommy says you're crazy and poor, Emma repeated matter-of-factly. She says that's why we can't come see you very much anymore. My heart shattered into 1,000 pieces. These beautiful children, my son Thomas's babies, had been taught to see their grandmother as something to pity or fear. And Mommy says crazy people do weird things, Jake added helpfully. Are you going to do weird things, Grandma? I pulled both children into my arms, fighting back tears. No, my loves. Grandma isn't crazy, and I'm not poor. Someone gave you wrong information. Emma looked confused. But Mommy said. Sometimes adults say things that aren't true, I said gently. What matters is that Grandma loves you both very much. This was supposed to be their weekend visit with me, something that happened less and less frequently since my son's wife Monica had started finding excuses to keep them away. Work commitments, social events, the children being too tired for visits, always something. Now I understood the real reason. Monica had been poisoning my grandchildren against me, telling them I was mentally unstable and financially desperate. She was isolating them from me by making them afraid of who I was. Grandma, Emma said seriously, if you're poor, we could give you some of our allowance money. The sweetness of the offer nearly broke me completely. These innocent children were worried about their grandmother's financial well-being because their mother had lied to them. That's very kind, Emma, but Grandma doesn't need money. I need you to remember something important. No matter what anyone tells you, Grandma loves you and will always be here for you. After I took the children home Sunday evening, I sat in my car outside Thomas and Monica's house for a long time. Through the window, I could see my son helping Jake with something while Monica talked on her phone in the kitchen. Thomas worked long hours as an engineer, often traveling for projects. He was a good father when he was present, but Monica had primary influence over the children's daily lives. And she was using that influence to destroy their relationship with me. I drove home to my poor lifestyle, a modest 3-bedroom house in a quiet neighborhood. What the children didn't know was that their grandmother owned the house outright, plus 2 rental properties and a substantial investment portfolio built over 30 years of careful financial planning. What they also didn't know was that their crazy grandmother had been a successful business consultant before retirement, with a master's degree in organizational psychology and a reputation for helping companies solve complex problems. But Monica had painted me as an unstable, impoverished old woman who needed to be managed and avoided. I made myself a cup of tea and sat at my kitchen table, thinking about my options. Then I picked up the phone and called someone I hadn't spoken to in months. Patricia Hendricks. Patricia, this is Dorothy Walsh. I need your help with a family matter. Patricia had been my colleague for 15 years before we both retired. She'd gone on to become a private investigator specializing in family cases, particularly those involving child welfare. Dorothy. How wonderful to hear from you. What's going on? I explained the situation, Monica's campaign to alienate my grandchildren, the lies about my mental state and finances, the increasingly limited access to Emma and Jake. Dorothy, what you're describing sounds like parental alienation. It's a form of emotional abuse that can have serious legal consequences. But I have to ask, is there any basis for her claims? Any reason she might genuinely be concerned about the children's welfare when they are with you? None whatsoever. My health is excellent, my finances are stable, and I've never done anything that would put those children at risk. Then we need to document everything. I'm going to ask you to start keeping detailed records of every interaction, every denied visit, every concerning statement the children make. And Dorothy, if this goes to court, they'll investigate everyone involved. Are you prepared for that level of scrutiny? I'm prepared for whatever it takes to protect my relationship with my grandchildren. Patricia began her investigation the next week. She started with basic background checks and quickly discovered information that shocked both of us. Dorothy, I need to ask, do you know about Monica's prescription drug use? What prescription drug use? She's been visiting multiple doctors for anxiety and pain medication. The pattern suggests she's doctor shopping, getting multiple prescriptions for controlled substances from different physicians who don't know about each other. My blood went cold. She's been alone with my grandchildren while using drugs. It appears so. And there's more. Monica has been posting on social media about her medication use, treating it like a lifestyle choice rather than medical treatment. She's also been selling some of the pills online. That's illegal. Very illegal. Dorothy, I think Monica's accusations about your mental state might be projection. She's the one with serious problems, and she's deflecting attention from herself by attacking you. Patricia's investigation revealed a pattern that had been invisible to Thomas, who was traveling so much for work. Monica had been spiraling into prescription drug addiction while positioning herself as the protective mother keeping her children away from their unstable grandmother. The evidence was overwhelming: multiple doctor visits, online sales of prescription medications, social media posts showing her impaired while caring for the children, and testimonies from neighbors who'd witnessed concerning behavior. "We have enough for a formal complaint," Patricia told me. "But Dorothy, once we file this, there's no going back. This will destroy Monica's relationship with Thomas and potentially result in criminal charges." "What about my grandchildren? If Monica is using drugs while caring for them, they are not safe. This isn't just about your visitation rights anymore, it's about child protection." I thought about Emma and Jake, innocent children who'd been taught to see their loving grandmother as someone to fear and pity. They deserved better than a drug-addicted mother who was poisoning their minds while endangering their safety. File the complaint. The investigation that followed was swift and thorough. Child Protective Services interviewed the children, finding evidence of neglect and exposure to drug use. The police searched Monica's home, discovering a cache of prescription medications and evidence of online sales. Thomas was devastated when he learned the truth. "Mom, I had no idea. She told me you were becoming confused, that you'd been saying strange things to the kids. I thought she was protecting them." "She was protecting herself," I said. "By making me the problem, she deflected attention from her own issues." The custody battle was brutal but brief. Monica's attorney tried to argue that her prescription drug use was legitimate medical treatment, but the evidence of abuse and illegal sales was overwhelming. Her campaign against me backfired completely when the court realized she'd been projecting her own instability onto a perfectly competent grandmother. "Mrs. Walsh," the family court judge said during the custody hearing, "the evidence shows you've been unfairly maligned by someone who was trying to hide serious addiction and criminal behavior. These children need stable, loving care, and you're clearly capable of providing that." Monica lost primary custody, with Thomas gaining full parental rights and me being granted extensive grandparent visitation. Monica was ordered into drug treatment and could only see the children during supervised visits. The criminal charges followed quickly. Prescription fraud, illegal drug sales, and child endangerment resulted in a 2-year prison sentence and mandatory addiction treatment. "I'm so sorry, Mom," Thomas said after the final court hearing. "I should have questioned what Monica was telling me about you. I should have investigated when she started limiting the kids' visits. You were working, traveling, trying to provide for your family. She took advantage of your absence and your trust. How do I explain to Emma and Jake that their mother is going to prison? You tell them the truth, in age-appropriate ways. You explain that Mommy was sick and made bad choices, but that she's getting help. And you make sure they know that Grandma was never crazy or poor, just someone who loves them very much." The transition wasn't easy for the children. Emma had nightmares about her crazy grandmother, and Jake was confused about why Mommy couldn't come home. But children are resilient, and with consistent love and honesty, they began to understand that the things Monica had told them weren't true. "Grandma," Emma said during one of our weekend visits, "I'm sorry we thought you were crazy." "You weren't wrong to believe what Mommy told you," I assured her. "Children should be able to trust their parents. But now you know the truth." "Are you really not poor?" Jake asked. "Because we still want to give you our allowance money." I laughed, the first genuine laugh I'd had in months. "I'm not poor, sweetheart. But if you want to save your allowance money, Grandma can help you open a bank account." Monica served 18 months of her sentence before being released to a halfway house. She's required to maintain her sobriety and can only see the children with supervised visits. The last I heard, she was working at a clinic helping other people with addiction issues. Thomas has become more involved in his children's daily lives, working locally instead of traveling. He's also more protective of our family relationships, understanding now how easily they can be manipulated by people with hidden agendas. As for Emma and Jake, they spend every other weekend with me now, plus holidays and school breaks. They've learned that their grandmother isn't crazy or poor, just someone who loves them unconditionally and will fight for them when necessary. The house Monica called evidence of my poverty is now filled with children's laughter again. The investment portfolio she didn't know existed has been restructured to include education funds for my grandchildren. And the crazy woman she tried to paint me as turned out to be competent enough to expose her drug addiction and protect two innocent children. Sometimes the people who call others crazy are the ones who most need help. Sometimes the people who claim others are poor are the ones who are truly impoverished, morally and spiritually. Monica tried to steal my grandchildren's love by convincing them I was unworthy of it. Instead, she lost everything herself and gave me the chance to show Emma and Jake what unconditional love really looks like. The truth has a way of surfacing, especially when someone is determined to uncover it. And a grandmother's love is stronger than any lie designed to destroy it.